Now, join us to discuss this further. An NC Continental Prime is Mawuli Dake, a Pan-Africanist, the CEO of the African Group Consulting, joins us from Ghana. A warm welcome to you, Mawuli, and thanks for honoring our invitation. I said you're welcome, and my initial question to you was that various meetings in the past have been held by African leaders, bordering on security issues in the past, with no strong resolution at the end, and little or no difference. Do you think this would be different?
I think I'm having a little bit of challenge. I was hearing everything before until now, so I don't know what's happening.
Yes, my question was, do you think this meeting will be different from meetings in the past with regards to security issues on the continent? Are you positive it will make a difference?
Well, great to join you again. There is no predetermined outcome. The outcome will depend on the seriousness of the leaders that are gathered there, on their political will and the hard work that they are willing to put in. So yes, it has the potential to make a difference, and it must, because really, if all we get is what has happened before from previous meetings, then it's actually pointless. So I hope and pray that something different and something more meaningful, practically different, happens from this meeting.
Now, Mawuli, how best would you think the insecurity issues in the continent will be should be addressed? The latest is the skirmishes we've seen in the Sudan, and also we remember the Eastern DRC and also Cabo Delgado in Mozambique. What will be the best approach to addressing conflicts on the continent?
Yes. So the best approach is always prevention. So we need to start from there. The AU needs a more robust preventative approach that actually can determine some of these issues and address them before we get to where we are right now. But the point is we are already in a crisis situation, and it's getting more and more complicated. So there's definitely no easy solution to the situation in Sudan or Eastern DRC or in Mali or Burkina Faso. But these are problems, so they are solvable. Unfortunately, in the case of Sudan, I think there are even more powerful external forces at play than African players involved. So we shouldn't deceive ourselves and think that the AU can sit in Nairobi or in Addis and come up with a solution that doesn't involve the other external players. So we have to have a holistic approach that brings all the players together. It's already a very bad situation and complicated situation, but we must do our part. And I think that we have a lot of experts at the AU Commission and in our communities that can come together and help address these challenges. And I must add, though, that part of what needs to be done is also to call out those who are negatively escalating the situation in Sudan, for instance.
Now, Mawuli, before I let you go, the last 24 months has witnessed coups in especially the West Africa sub-region and has led to the tag of the coup belt. How soon do you see African countries moving away from the era of military regimes, and how can we best strengthen democratic institutions on the continent to prevent these sorts of takeovers? Because when they come into government, this military junta, as they always use the excuse that governance was bad, there was corruption, and things like that. So how can we strengthen our democratic institutions, and when can we finally say that military coups are a thing of the past?
Yes. Well, just this evening, someone shared a post that I saw on social media that said that I know every Ghanaian is against a military coup, but our president and his government is doing everything to invite a military coup. And I think that pretty much summarizes my response to the question you raised. It's unfortunate, as I said, it's always better to prevent And we can say we are against military coups, but military coups are caused by certain conditions. When people feel disempowered, excluded, cheated, mistreated, oppressed, they may have a reason to revolt. We always say that there's no excuse for military coups and all that, but we know that military coups are caused by certain conditions. And so we can't ignore those conditions and preach against military coups. And just to share quickly, back in 2010, I was a lead consultant for the ECOWAS Vision 2020 Experts Committee that was constituted by the president of ECOWAS at the time. And we developed the ECOWAS Vision 2020 with the theme of ECOWAS of the people. And I will always remember this. When we were preparing the final reports, our opening statement was that this was the first time in the history of ECOWAS that all the member countries were headed by democratically elected presidents. 2 weeks before we submitted the reports, there were coups in Guinea and somewhere else. So we had to change the entire report because at the time we were preparing the reports, we had all member countries being led by democratically elected leaders. And by the time we submitted the report, there were 2 overthrows of elected presidents. So the instability is there. The conditions are still there that cause these coups, the misgovernance, the corruption, the extreme deprivation of our people. And all these conditions are still prevalent in the sub-region. So I think that if we are serious about permanently eliminating this situation, then we have to address the fundamental and deeper issues of poverty and exclusion and bad governance and all that.
Thank you very much, Mawuli Dake, for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It's a pleasure.